Good morning. We're here at the Garth Hotel in Darlington for the third Level Up Live event, calling for investment and jobs across the North East. Today we're talking about health and well-being with our special guest, Peter Gibson MP. Let's see how it goes.
Happy to be here. Great to meet you for the first time, Mike. And
yes, and you.
You know, it's a very, very exciting time for Darlington.
It is.
My motivations for getting involved in politics, as somebody who was born in the Tees Valley, grew up in the Tees Valley, had a business here, is that I always felt that we were shortchanged and forgotten about. I think our region is changing for the better. I think our region has got a sense of pride and aspiration that it's long forgotten.
Is the attitude going to be, you've had your pot, and now, as you suggested then, you know, it's best governed locally, you're best get on with yourself, so you sort of, is that very unfair?
I think I disagree.
Okay.
I think I disagree. I think if anyone thinks that next year we are going to turn around as a government, bunch of Conservative politicians, and say, we have levelled up the North East, job done, let's move on and do something else. That isn't going to happen, because we are talking about reversing decades of underinvestment, decades of lost pride and lost opportunities. This is a journey. This is not a destination. Levelling up is not a destination. Levelling up is a process of that journey of transformation that we need.
Health and wellbeing, one of the big factors that I think is your mental health and connections with your work colleagues and seeing people, and being at home and being by yourselves over the last 2 years. Teams is not any substitution for that. We're trying to make sure that in the office we are providing everything we possibly can to attract people back in, because we definitely think that that's the way forward, really.
You know, there is potential in every corner of this region. We just have to make sure that we really help to seed it. We help to move it forward and motivate it. And the only way we can do that is working together to do that. Everyone is scared of some form of failure, whether that could be showing a weakness, whether it could be that their business doesn't succeed, whatever it might be. But actually failure is our key learning mechanism. You learn more from failure than you ever do from success.
We've really tried to work hard around removing that stigma of mental health. And so we've got lots of stories from Antonio and other senior leaders, which are saying, you know, I've been through something tough, and showing vulnerability and being authentic. And there's this kind of massive caring message that is at the core of everything we do.
If you've got senior figures that can then share their stories and say, actually, you know, I might look like I'm all together, but I'm not, I think that's really powerful.
I had a couple of conversations in lockdown. They were amongst the hardest I've had in my whole career, because they were on Teams with people that just said to me, I'm struggling, and broke down. And you know, when you're not in the same room, becomes much harder. I think is very much about how ready the organisation is to address and deal with those challenges as they come forward. And I can only put that down to the inclusivity of the organisation and how people are comfortable with where they work, who their manager is, and being able to sort of have that first conversation.
The hardest thing I've done this year was attend someone's funeral who committed suicide, a colleague of ours. It was someone that was very extrovert, seemed very happy. But a lot of this does come down to people talking, because people are very good at putting a show on and going home or going into their dark space somewhere and not sharing it. Watch out for all your employees. Watch out for the signs and know the signs, and if you see them, act. That is so important.
Someone who's struggled massively in the past with mental health issues is this guy here. I've been through some horrific times in my life, like really, I was lowering as a snake's belly, as they say. I'm not going to mention the company name. I used to work there, I was there for a lot of years. In the last 2.5 years, 6 of my colleagues have committed suicide since the place shut down. Now, it's the aftercare of them staff when the place shuts. So when I lose staff now, I'll still put a monthly call in with them just to see if they're all right. I think that's what we need to do better as a society. Look after the people we lose. It's great to look after the people who work for you, but the people who don't work for you are still people.
This is where mental health services feel they've got all these things in place, but it's actually identifying who can access, and it's the same in workplaces. When people are in these dark places, as you just said, you know, you might never know. Most of the time when we do the tragic stories and inquests of people who've lost their lives, what you hear time and time again is, we didn't know. But that's when you get to, it might one day just open up to one person when you're chatting to them over a coffee. And that could make the difference. And that's why we have to be, as people, as individuals, really in tune with what our colleagues and friends are actually, that general day-to-day life.
Take the positive from this, we're talking about it.
Yes.
We've started the journey. We're not there, it's not perfect, no one's pretending that, but we're starting the journey. And if the Chamber and the other business organisations can work with the press that can amplify it and keep this journey going, let's take the positive. Where we've come from, we've come a long way, still got a way to go, but there is a lot of good stuff out there, and I think sometimes we forget how positive this is start going.